Welcome back to Oblivious Maximus. I'm Ben Searle, and you are?
Aaron Osborne, the other guy. Fuck, it's getting tight. You and me doing that.
As I was editing today, I was like, I keep saying I'm the host. I mean, just by virtue of the fact that I'm talking does indicate that. So you can cut it out. But thanks for joining me here today, mate.
Pleasure.
But joining us is Jake Zammit. How you doing today, mate?
Yeah, I'm doing not too bad.
Yeah.
You're in the thick of some album launch shows. How's it been going?
Extremely well. A lot better than expected, honestly. I kind of just, when I was putting it together, I was just wanting to play everywhere. I don't really think I had any in particular expectations for any of the shows, but so far, like we've only done 3 of the shows, so Melbourne, Frankston, and Adelaide, and they've all just been hugely successful.
Sick.
Yeah, it's so awesome. I mean, I think Ben said when I was going to the bathroom before, neither he or I could go to either of the shows.
Had a ticket.
You did have a ticket. Gave it away.
Gave it away on the Instagram.
Very generous.
Yeah, that whenever we've
We've done it twice now.
We've done it twice now, so hopefully I don't have to miss any shows. But we were just like, well, we'd rather get someone else in because I think I could have made it by the end, and then I was like, that feels wrong. I want someone who's going to be there for the whole show.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm a good guy.
But yeah, neither of us could go. And then watching all the videos, I was like, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Wish I could have gone.
But it looks sick as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were saying you were pretty happy with the result?
Yeah, easily. Like I've played in bands for a bit over 10 years now, probably like 10 to 15 years, somewhere in between that. And easily I can say that was my favorite show I've played across any band that I've done. So
that's really something to say that, like, because you play a lot of shows, and like, I mean, I think we've all played a lot of shit shows.
Oh yeah.
And but you do
stinkers.
Yeah, but you do play some awesome ones. So it's like, man, for something to really stand out above the rest, like that's a big moment.
Yeah, it was really special. And I think the big thing for me is I'm just having a lot of fun with it too. So even if things went to shit, like I'm still enjoying myself. So I think that's a pretty important factor.
Yeah, big time.
And this is kind of like your band too, right?
Yes.
Like this is the Jake vision, this band.
So like with this band, I started writing it 6 years ago with actually Mike, who plays in AWOL, and Donch, who plays in Disdain.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a starting point. We kind of just dropped the idea of doing the band because we found it really difficult to write to the vision that we wanted. Mm-hmm. And the guys just let me go along with continuing to do it. And then a few iterations later, the band started to come to life, and yeah, after 6 years, finally released something. So, yeah.
But so talk us through the makeup of the band, because the other thing too is Interstate members now as well, right?
Yes. So since beginning the band, like playing shows, we've had the same lineup. So we have 2 of my friends from Melbourne, who is James and Sam. Sam also plays in Threshold. Mm-hmm. And from Adelaide, we have Kyle, who's this fantastic drummer.
Freak behind the kit.
Yes. I had to...
As a drummer too, that's very important.
Oh, yeah.
To find a freak behind the kit.
Yeah. I think it was such an important factor to me because I've only played drums in bands, so I wanted to have someone that I knew that was capable of doing what I could do, if not better. And he completely did things so much better than I could have ever done it. So
he rocks.
Yeah. Great guy.
I had the experience of playing Survival by No Apologies with him.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah,
so technically, I've played music with him as well.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, the drumming on the record's fucking awesome. It's real, like, again, as someone who I wouldn't say I'm a drummer anymore, but I was a drummer at one point. It's real, like, drum guy drumming on the record.
For sure.
Like I'm like, fuck, this cuts in the pocket, baby.
Yeah, when running the drum parts, I was like, whoever I pass this on to, I feel pretty bad about. But he honestly nailed it and added his own flavor to it as well. So the parts ended up being a lot better than like what I originally intended it to be. So yeah. Killer.
That's awesome.
Now talk us through the billboard.
Oh yeah, the billboard.
How did that happen?
Oh, that's so easy. Everyone makes it out to be like this crazy thing, but it was just like a big.
Send an email.
Yeah, honestly, it was as easy as going online, just typing in, how do I get a billboard up? And then just filled in a few things and boom, right there. It wasn't too expensive.
I gotta get on this.
We gotta get.
Yeah,
we gotta get
I'll give you the context. The contacts.
Please.
The Oblivious Maximus billboard.
Yeah, we gotta get up there.
Yeah.
Something's got to push these listeners.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's just it's just a fun thing to do for the band.
Oh, well, that was the thing. I knew by doing it, everyone was going to start talking about it.
Yeah.
And I think it was better than me running any ad post by Instagram or Facebook.
There's no point.
Yeah.
There's seriously no point.
I've come to the conclusion that like word of mouth is the strongest thing you can do for any social media. Everything else is just like you're throwing money into an empty hole, and it's not going to people that you want it to go to necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say like one of our best performing like Instagram reels we did for this podcast, this is the most insane chat on a podcast, but
Real inside baseball.
real inside
shit.
baseball. But the reel we put up with Jailed, with our dear friend, the Security Guard, just flashing up in the video.
Yeah.
Got shared so many times by people because they were just like, oh, this is funny.
Yeah.
That it then pushed us out to like so many more people
course.
by way of like literally all we didn't do anything different. We didn't pay for anything. It was just.
And it wasn't like a thing to be like, oh, this will do this.
No,
It
we
was
literally
like,
just thought
this
it was
is
funny.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was. It was
Yeah.
really fun.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a great pick. And yeah, saw a bunch of people sharing it.
Yeah,
what
exactly.
we want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's all you need.
Yeah. Hardcore business right here.
Thanks for tuning in to the latest episode of Hardcore
Yeah, we got
Business.
a course for sale.
So tell us a little bit otherwise about the record. Like the record sounds fucking awesome. Recorded it with Lewis.
Thank you. Yeah.
He had a pretty big hand in it in shaping stuff as well.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I had these songs like, so my writing process is, because I wrote all the guitars and stuff, but the issue is I can't play guitar to save my
Sure.
life,
Classic.
which is a big problem because when you're trying to convey what a guitar sounds like, when you can't play guitar to an actual guitarist, you sound crazy. So thankfully I know how to write music. So I tabbed out all the songs on all the instruments and then just gave it to them.
Wow.
It's like, okay, just learn this and then we'll take it to the studio. And Lewis listened through the songs and helped out a bunch. He tracked everything so well that we didn't really have to do a lot of like messing around in the studio to get things to sound the way we wanted it to. Because at the end of it, we wanted like Forewarned to sound pretty natural and almost like authentic in terms of like a live sound.
Yeah,
And I feel like
definitely does.
Nailed it on that. Honestly,
Yeah.
Probably one of my favorite mixes by him is my own band.
Oh,
of
dude,
course.
he's getting so good at it. And I feel I'm allowed to say that, one, because he's recorded stuff for me, but two, because he plays in the band with me too. But like,
he's the man.
he's getting so good at it and it's
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like everything just sounds better than the last thing.
Yeah, 100%. I've worked with Lewis a couple of years back, and he was awesome to work with back then. But now it's been such a gigantic upgrade. Like he's just constantly getting better and better and better. And like he's doing a bunch of stuff for a bunch of my friends' bands that yet to come out, and they all sound phenomenal. It's so easy to just like walk into the studio. If you have a shit take, he'll just tell you, and then you'll just run it again, which is good. You need that. And,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I give a lot of praise to him because I don't think the record would have sounded as good as it did without his help.
And have you written other stuff like that before at all? Or was this the first time that you were like, I'm going to try and write the guitars and start? Because it sounded like you had a pretty clear vision of what you wanted it to be.
Yeah. I had a very specific sound that I was going for with this project. I had written for one band previously, but this was like the first time that I was like very sure of what I exactly wanted to try and achieve. Where with the other project that I'd worked on previously in the past, I had ideas, but I wasn't quite there with the execution. I was in process of writing an album, but the band fell apart. So it was one of those things where I'd wrote like 35 minutes of music and all we had to do was record it, but implosions happen, I guess. These things, it's being in a band. What do you expect?
That's band shit.
Yeah.
2 years and then boom.
And putting this tour together before we started recording, you were like, want to make sure these shows are like shows you really want to go to. Like, I mean, you're kind of doing a bit of everything at the moment. How are you kind of managing all that?
Yeah, I mean, between full-time work, doing the label, the bands that I'm doing, there's also other bands that I will be recording that are yet to be released as well. So there's more I am going to put on my plate, which is good. It's good. I like being busy. But I think for me, the reason that I like being so busy is because with music, it's the thing that I enjoy most. So I can easily just, sit down and do that kind of stuff. And it makes me feel like going to work, this is the reward for all the hard
100%.
hours that I've done concreting, slaving away at the system. Not to say that my work's bad. I love my work, but I love playing music a bit more.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude. I mean, it's literally, I like my job too, but if I didn't have to do it, I would not do it.
100%. Absolutely.
If I had a way that I could pay to do all the fun stuff I like doing, I would absolutely do that.
But it's funny though, because I think if I wasn't working and I still had enough money to fund like all the music stuff, I think I still would want to work just because mentally for me.
Oh yeah, I'd have to do something.
Yeah.
Well, as someone who's
Tell us about the other side of this.
Well, I think it's a bit of that, like, there's that saying, like, if you want something done, like, give it to a busy person. Like, I think when I was working full time and doing comedy full time, or doing it pretty, I was doing it every night on the weekends. I mean, there's something has to give.
Yeah,
for sure.
So I think if you can get that balance right, it's really good. But I think it's also like there's something about when you get that, like you write on that balance of like being really busy with your hobby, being really busy with your passion and your work. There's something that really motivating about that, because it's like you are really like nose to the grindstone, and there's something about if both those things are working really well, it is very mentally and what personally satisfying, I think.
Yeah.
And there's something about that I guess people don't like. It's hard to describe. Like you're like, because I've had the no job and have done just the comedy, and it's like spend a lot of days fucking around. Like I've probably got to a point now where I'm a bit better at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard work, and I think the thing about having the work is you don't have to compromise too much with your music and creative passion. Like, because I think I see it with more from the comedy perspective now, but like, because you're trying to make money out of your music, you're like, oh, well, I will do this gig that I really don't want to do because there's money involved. Whereas like if you've got your bills covered and you've got everything covered, it's like you don't have to compromise on your creative projects at all.
I mean, I think that's the other thing too, is like for me is that I am happy to go all in on everything because I know that I will be fine. Like, and I think that's also the benefit of just getting older and figuring out your priorities and shit too. But I mean, like long gone for me are the days of like hitting up everyone in the band and being like, I'm going to need $100. like I'm not doing that anymore. Yeah. Like particularly like in doing a band where, similar to yourself, I'm sure like I'm like in charge of the band. Yeah. I'm just going to be like, well, I'll pay for everything and I'll figure it out. Yeah. And if it goes shit, then that's my fault for going all in.
You know what? It's a freeing feeling to have that. I do like that feeling. I wanted to bring back something similar to what you had said before, because I've only worked 3 jobs ever in my life. So I worked for like 5 years making windows. But my second job, I was selling like vintage band t-shirts and stuff like that. And I had been collecting shirts my whole life, and it was like a passion thing to me. So when it became a job that I had to sell shirts for money and part ways with things that were so like important to me, as silly as it sounds, like it was a difficult thing for me to do. So I preferred it being a hobby as a collector than it turning into a job. Which is what it became. So once I moved into concreting, I enjoyed like trading shirts again and selling shirts again, which is kind of funny that like even with something as stupid as t-shirts, it's a similar thing.
No, I mean I think it's a common experience people have. Like they're like, if I could do this thing all the time, that would make me happy. And then you do it and you're like, well, I hate doing the fucking admin that goes along with my hobby. Like, whereas, and I think you have then that way you can have peaks and troughs in your hobby. And like, if there's too much live shit going on, you can pump the brakes a little bit. It's like, a bit like this podcast. It's like, if we were having to make money off it, we'd be like, well, we definitely can't take a week off here or there. Like, these people gotta hear it. Like, I think for us, it's like we'd rather keep it as a cool thing that people are interested in than like, oh, we had to get this guest who people don't give a fuck about because we just had no other option. Like, I think we want to keep it to be, and it's like you start, like my mum had a ceramics business when I was growing up.
True.
And that was like her doing that kind of her passion thing, and it was like very stressful.
Yeah.
You see it happen to people. It's hard.
Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I feel like every other person who I know has had some level of a career in music that has gotten out of it or stopped doing it for whatever reason, then becomes like the most passionate person about music as soon as they aren't doing it for a job anymore, because they're like, oh, I can actually enjoy this thing. Like, and I don't think he'd care me saying it, but like Paddy, our mate who like does a lot of the graphic stuff for us.
Yeah.
He worked at a record label for a long time and worked pretty specifically in some music stuff. And he got like really burnt out by people and, attitudes and all this sort of stuff. And then, but he got into that from being amazing at it and doing all this awesome shit. And then he basically got so burnt that he stopped doing it for a while. And then now he's back doing it again. And like the stuff that he's doing now is some like the best stuff he's ever done. Like the fact that he worked for a label and got so burnt that he bailed on it and then started doing freelance shit again, and they got nominated for a fucking Grammy. Like,
yeah, that's crazy.
Like, it's insane, but that's like the reality. Like once it, talking a little bit out of turn in that he does make money off it. Like it is his job as well. But at the same time, like, I think part of it is just about like the experience of freeing yourself a little bit from certain parts. And I mean, I think the other thing too in like hardcore and death metal and, whatever pursuit you're taking, there is like, I don't want to compromise at all. And I mean, I think the thing that comes out of that from another positive lens is like, I reckon Aglo is probably like the thing that I've put the most of myself into, like my personality. And of all the things I've put the most of my personality into, it's the stuff that's gotten some of the best like responses from people, and people like really like it. And I've had friends tell me like, oh yeah, it's because it's you. Like that's why people like it,
Yeah, I think being authentic and personal just showcases, and it's so clear and on display. And I think with art, it's just so important to just be yourself. And I think it's a very hard thing to do in a world where a lot of people are watching like your every move. I mean, look at social media nowadays. It's everyone's got their eyes on what you're doing. There's almost an expectation from certain people, but you just got to remember at the end of the day that like nothing fucking matters. You just got to make yourself happy. And I think that's the reason why Aglo is like musically as successful as like what it is. Like it's just what you're trying to do, and it sounds great,
Yeah. Because I think people can tell when it's bullshit.
Oh, yeah. 1 billion %.
Yeah.
1 billion %. Maybe not everyone, but there are people that see right through it.
Yeah. And I think you kind of know yourself if you've ever like I think music and art and stuff is a journey, and you don't go into it immediately going like, oh, I'm 100% myself.
Yeah.
I know myself, like in comedy stuff, have gone through this kind of like wave of like maybe trying to be, you be like people you admire, and then kind of come back around, and then you're like, oh, you shed that a bit and become like yourself, because it's like everyone starts ripping off riffs.
1 billion %. The Forewarned album is just other people's songs. But this is the thing: you can take influences from all these different places you love, but it's the way that you bring it in to make it you and yourself is what makes it so special. Like.
And it seems like you've done that with Forewarned. Like it's a real it feels very you. Like
I feel like the music that I listen to in hardcore is like exactly what I want Forewarned to sound like. And it's a bunch of like 90s bands that are in the like straight edge metallic hardcore scene, a bunch of the also late 90s like Australian hardcore bands and stuff like that. And the thing is, people will come up to me and cite these bands and be like, oh, this sounds like this. And I'm like, I'm glad that you can hear it in that, you know, like that's what I'm going for. And it's cool that people will understand these like very specific niche things. But that's the type of person I'm trying to show the music to, I guess, like people that aren't wanting the same type of exact song all the time or the exact same type of band all the time.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. I mean, I think the other thing too is like, I don't think if you said to me 4 years ago, a person is going to put out a Day of Contempt record and then have a Day of Contempt feature on a record in this time frame, like I'd be like, that's not happening.
Yeah.
And you've done that,
I
mate.
didn't think that was going to happen either, to be quite honest. Which is super, super cool. I'm very grateful for that. I'm very thankful for Ben for being involved and being such a nice person. Like it was really cool to become friends with him from just like organizing the reunion set at Kingpin.
Yeah.
So it really just came together nicely when he jumped on that song, and I
it's
thought it was a
fucking
really fitting like song for him to be on.
Yeah. It definitely sounds like it's a song that DOC could have.
Oh, 100%.
in the realm.
It's so crazy because like I was in the studio. I can't remember who was there with me at the time, and they asked, like, when was the last time you recorded on a song? And I was like, I actually don't even know. And I think it was like, from what Ben said, it was like at least 11 or so years.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So I was like, oh, well, hopefully he sounds all right. Like, I'm just winging it here, but I'm very, very stoked about that. Super grateful. So
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. And so I'll broach a funny subject. We have given on this podcast a good amount of grief to Kingpin Festival last year.
I hear it all the time, actually. So
because
someone doesn't like my fest, I
because
see.
No, the fest is great.
Yes.
we get, but also you were at our live show and you were sitting like directly in
It
front of me.
was so funny.
And it was just like,
hearing.
well, now I'm talking about it because he's sitting like 1 meter away from me. It worked out great. But I will say, it was fucking awesome. The show. I mean, as much shit as I was giving the beer prices and the location.
Oh no,
That's
I
venue
agree.
specific.
I agree, but like, yeah.
No, but
Go on.
the show itself was just so good though, and like it was I thought it was like truly a real like success of like getting all this different shit together.
Yeah.
In Melbourne, which I think probably for a little while hadn't happened in that kind of way.
Yeah, I at least don't think so either.
Yeah. And I mean, I think the other thing too is like, all these things are really hard to get together as well. Like it's something that is a challenge every time. But I mean, obviously I'm not asking you to blow anything now, but it's something that you want to keep going. Yeah. And like keep pushing each year or.
Yeah. So there was like challenges I've ran into that made me go, yeah, I think this is going to like not happen this year. But then there's been a lot of people that have been extremely encouraging of me to do it, and people that I really look up to as well. So I'm going to do my best to make it happen.
Yeah.
And if all goes well, I think it's going to be a very good year this year.
Fuck yeah. That's so sick. Yeah. Well, we're excited to see it. And I just wanted to, publicly put on camera that I have no problems actually with Kingpin Festival. It's more a bit.
You keep publicly saying things on the like you gave you a big shout out to the Thantu boys. You're like, I want to publicly put it on record.
Well, yeah. Now
That's
that
the Aaron seal of approval.
Yeah, pretty much.
you look into my eyes, camera person watching me. That's I got to give that shout out to the camera
Absolutely.
boys.
Yeah, legends.
And I guess rather than not thinking about the next one just yet, but I guess last time you came on, it was coming up, the Kingpin Fest.
Yeah,
true.
How I guess it's like thinking about things that you're doing that are satisfying this goal of working hard. Like how it must have been like a lot of build up to it. You have the day, and then like, at what point could you like relax? Like after the last band played?
Yeah, after the last band played was definitely the point I could relax. But until then, there was no relaxing.
Yeah.
One person running an event to that size with all the shit that was going on behind the scenes made me want to scream. And thankfully, I didn't have any hair to pull out either. But in saying that, though, it was so hugely successful for me. Like I was so blown away with all the sets. They were all fantastic. Everyone was coming up to me and congratulating me, and it kind of felt unusual because I'm like, I'm doing this because I want to do it, but like I understand why I'm getting congratulated because it is a big thing to put together. But people are doing stuff like this all the time across Australia and don't get the praise. So shout out to all the people like Burning Hammer, Last Ride Records. Like they do huge things for the scene, and they do get their praise. Don't get me wrong, but like they've been doing it longer than I have, and without them, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. And I mean, I think, and there's even, I mean, like, again, we've talked about it on here quite a lot, recently, but the other thing too is like, I think it's, it is in such a good spot right now too, that just like even other places can have a similar level of output, like you were just saying before we started recording, like how good the show in Adelaide was. And like, I mean, I've said it on here a bunch of times, like I used to go to Adelaide every other fucking week to play shows.
Yeah.
And sometimes there'd be 20 people there and it was awesome. And sometimes there'd be 200 people there and it was awesome. But it seems like that scene in particular now is like, has just popped right back up to like, almost what it was well before I even started going.
Are we saying Adelaide?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Adelaide easily is one of the strongest scenes right now. You just look at the hardcore bands that are coming out right now. Desire played their first set. And honestly, I think that is a band that everyone needs to keep their eyes on. Like, I think that band is going to do really, really spectacular things.
Yeah. I mean, just even like, I've, played a couple shows that were really good, but then even like going there with Harm's Way, and they had said like, I think every time Harm's Way had ever been to Adelaide, like most people attending was like 40 people. And I think
sounds about right.
Yeah. And I think they'd been there like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And then I was sort of saying before we were going there, I was like, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Trust me, it'll be good.
Yeah.
The last couple have been really good for me. Like, it'll be good, blah, blah, blah. And we get there and it was like fucking unreal. Like, it was so fun. And I think it sold out and it was really well attended and people were going psycho, like awesome show. And then, afterwards, those guys were like, yeah, that was great. Like, we should come here every time now.
Yes. Yeah. Shout out to Adelaide. Adelaide's fucking sick. And I think Time Ends played that show. I'm trying to think who else played as well. But yeah, Time Ends fucking rules too. Yeah. Obviously. But
I mean, I think what I'm trying to say is I think that like right now we're in such a good spot in terms of just like people contributing wherever that kind of everywhere is good to play a show.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like,
there's no bad spot in my opinion. And places that are considered bad spots to some people, you just got to grind it.
Yeah.
How do these scenes come up? It's when you get there, you get involved, and more people come to the shows. Nothing happens overnight. Like Adelaide wasn't this city that just exploded out of nowhere. Like it had its hard fucking times. I remember playing Adelaide on one of the last tours that I did with Broken before we stopped being a band. And the show was colossally small. And then the next time I came back to Adelaide after COVID, it was a whole different city. There's so many young people that are excited about music and stuff like that. Things will come in waves, and the only way that places will grow is if you be a part of that community and help it grow.
You have to contribute to it.
You can't just like plant a seed and not water it. You gotta help it out.
And I mean, and I'm not going to get into specifics, but like I think that's the thing that always irks me a little bit about like, and so we talked about, again, not when we were recording, but when we did the episode with Speed was like right when I just started trying to figure out booking these shows for I Exist.
Yeah.
And I was like very, not concerned, but I was like, a lot of bands are getting back together. A lot of like bands from back in the day are doing stuff, and it often feels hard to me to buy into that when they're people who are not around, or they're people who don't go to anything or don't contribute in any way. And I kind of was like, does I exist? Will it look like that? And they were like, no, it won't, because everyone's still playing in bands and stuff. And then that's kind of where I sit with it anyway. It's like, I'm going to stuff, I'm doing this, everyone else is playing in bands and shit, whatever. But like, I think the biggest thing that I take away from that though is like, you got to keep fucking going. Like, you know, if you want to keep doing this stuff and you want people to care, you got to be a part of it. And the cool thing is that like, I feel right now when bands are coming back and they are doing things, they're at least seeing that and then getting pushed into, all right, now you got to keep going to shows. Now you got to keep playing. And like a lot of older people are coming back that seemingly were gone for quite a while for whatever reason, and are now like, oh, this is the best it's ever been, which is real old head chat. But like, I mean, the fact of the matter is like, I was talking about it with real old heads, mine's there.
Yes.
Like, and those guys still go to like every, you know, Beltsy and Nigel are at like every other show.
Yeah, I think Stu told me Beltsy was at the Frankston show we played, so that was pretty sick. I was wearing my Mind Snare shirt, didn't realize.
But I mean, like, you know, like I think the reality is like you just got to be there and you got to be a part of it for it to keep pushing. And yeah, and I mean, and again, like I think like all of us have been a part of like the ups and downs of cities and scenes and stuff. And yeah, we've harped on about it quite a lot here, that how it's like sitting so good at the minute. But I mean, it really is like, it's so fun going to these things. Like the fact that, the fact that like your show the other night, it was like a very like local Melbourne show, really.
Very.
And like sold out well in advance.
Yeah, 9 days, which I'm beyond stoked about. I've never ran anything that successful before. So
yeah, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, I think that's just such a good sign of like, well, anyone can do that now too.
100%.
Like everyone should.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. I don't want people to think that, oh, Kingpin is like the thing in Melbourne, so we should only do Kingpin shows. It's like, no, book your own shit. Like, go crazy. Do awesome stuff. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, so why are you trusting me? Are you crazy?
Yeah. It seems like, I guess that thing of people coming back and seeing the shows, it's like, I think the scene is the best it's ever been, but it's like also seems different, like in a good way. Like it seems very, like I think the Horsepower show is a good example recently for me. Like it just, the crowd is just a mix of people. There's fucking cunts with mohawks. There's like, you know, people that are fucking swagged out. Like it's like,
it's cool.
It's cool. It's actually interesting. It's actually, there's all sorts of people here. And like for a show that was south of the river, it was like a lot of fun. It wasn't, when it started turning into the nightclub, it got a bit hairy, but for the show, it was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And it seems like that's the big difference. Like I think, for me anyway, that's the best thing about it. It's like, it seems different. It's not the same type of person. It seems pretty mixed, and yeah, it's more interesting as well.
Yeah. I think that's so good, and it's so important that it's mixed. I'm really jealous that you got to go to the show because I was in Japan at the time. So unfortunately, I missed it.
I mean, it's a beautiful country.
Yeah. But it's funny that I was getting FOMO of a band that I see like every 3 weeks, you know, while I'm in Japan on a holiday.
Yeah.
Just shows you how much I love Melbourne hardcore, I guess.
I mean, the problem I have at these things now is I'm getting like paralyzed by, I'm going to these things and I'm spending so much time chatting it up, chopping it up, that half the time I'm like, forget it, a band's even playing, and then I have to go participate in the thing that I'm actually there for.
Yeah.
But again, that's like the positive side of like, I mean, there was some years ago where like, you were in the show, you watched the 4 bands with the 20 other people that were there, and then you went home. Whereas like now I'm like, every fucking person I know is here.
Yeah, I try to leave a show and like I just get into conversation after conversation before I can get out the door.
Yeah, I mean, and I just stay there drinking until they tell me to leave. Or until Ben tells me he's driving back in my car to the other side of the river.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Whatever comes first.
Whatever comes first. And so it sounds like you got a couple of things coming up for the label as well.
Yeah. A bunch of new bands will be coming through it very soon. I think there's like 6 or 7 things planned to be released.
Holy shit. That's
and
sick.
all of the bands I genuinely love so much. So it makes me so excited that like Kingpin is a label where I'm only putting out the stuff that I really directly love. And finally getting to put out also an international release soon. So, yeah. And
Holy shit.
I think that will be coming out in a couple of months. So stay tuned for that.
Nice. And so I guess you've got the rest of this tour now.
Yeah.
We've caught you at the start of it.
Yeah.
But where are some of the shows you're excited to head to in these next couple ones?
That's such a hard question because like it's so funny because people are like, whoa, you've done a lot of dates on this tour because there's 11 dates on the run. Originally, my intention was to have, I think, around 18 to 21 dates.
Wow.
And it was going to be way more regional, but I think
Didn't want
the
to
rest
hit
of the band would hate
60,
me.
60 shows in a month.
Yeah, pretty much. When was that? That was like maybe 2017 or something like that.
I mean, I'm thinking of the one that they did when I was like, actually,
when they were, like,
and I think there was, I mean, some call in, hit me in the comments, but it was something like, I mean, I know Slowburn played the Canberra show, and I think that it was something like 60 shows in 2 months. Like it was like a show every day, and
that's
I was like
diabolical
in Australia. Like they were playing every shithole you could play.
I mean, if you can do it, and get people down, it's pretty sick.
I respect that grind so hard. Like,
they were watching a lot of like American touring videos.
Yeah, I think it's so sick though because it's like, like look at it this way. It's like you can play the same cities a bunch, or you could just go try and take a risk. Like I want to go play some different places that I've never played before.
Oh yeah,
or bands don't touch that actually do have hardcore communities. And so a bunch of friends talking about making stuff like that happen. We want to play shows that are regional areas that don't really ever get touched by like hardcore bands.
And some, I mean, obviously I haven't been to a lot of them, but like, I mean, I've played shows in Albury that were fucking awesome.
That was one of the spots on my list.
Yeah.
I love the Albury Wodonga scene. It's so underrated. And I think bands and touring bands should go past it more often.
Yeah. I mean, you literally drive through it. So fucking play there.
Yep. Yeah. It's like 3.5 hours out of Melbourne.
Yeah.
And it's like probably 3 hours from Canberra. So
truly, if you play a show in Canberra, you could just play there the next day.
Yeah.
I think Speed are playing there on the tour with Whispers too.
Are they? That's good.
Maybe I might be
I hope
talking
they
out of
are.
turn.
If not, maybe add that date.
Yeah, Speed while you're listening.
We're adding in shows.
Yeah, well, you already have like 5 other Victorian shows on that run that are all going to sell out.
Hey, it's on the border. It's be a slash.
But yeah, so I mean, obviously doing Canberra, which is good.
Canberra is one of. Okay, yeah. Sorry, going back to your question, I just completely skipped over it. The ones I'm really excited, especially is Canberra, is a big one for me. Like last time we played Canberra was a house show with our friends Bloodmouth, and it was so cold outside.
Oh yeah.
I remember like trying to yell, and I was just pushing, and it was just like a cloud of smoke and no voice. But like we had the most fun at that show, and I met so many good friends there that I would now consider lifetime friends, and just the whole vibe of it, and playing a house show that was like, I can't really compare it to anything. So coming into Canberra and being in a warm venue this time, it's going to be truly beautiful. I know a lot of people traveling from Melbourne and Sydney and Newcastle coming to that show. So I'm like really beyond excited. It feels like a excursion, really. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, when hardcore shows become the the spring break, that's when it hits its stride.
Well, it seems like we're coming up to a bit of a period of it with like we've got the Burning Hammer shows, the Last Ride shows, and the Weekenders, and then Cold Day coming up. It's like
all soon as well.
Sick to see.
Yeah,
and it's like awesome that all this shit's happening. It's like, and all of them are like look fucking dope.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like looking at these shows, then looking at my bank account and being like, fuck, why are you making me do this?
Well, my thing is that like I'm just bummed because some of those I would love to go to, but I've organized something here and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, 100%.
Now I'm getting option paralysis.
Yeah.
Which is a weird spot to be in. It feels very like, I mean, you know, when I was much younger, we used to just like, again, I would say that the other thing that's a real stark difference now is like back in the day, it was like hardcore in Sydney, that the hardcore festival, like it was like there was this once a year pilgrimage of this one thing and then that was it. And now it feels like because it's popping so well, like there's one of that everywhere. So people are trying to like fit them all in, which is awesome. Like,
yeah, I think that's good. And the other thing that I think is really good about the fact that there is a lot is because, the thing that I like I don't know how to speak actually. The thing that I like about all these festivals happening at the same time is the fact that they're all different in their own ways. Like you look at Burning Hammer Fest, that's different to the Last Ride Showcase, and you look at A Cold Day, and that's completely different to those two. And I hope Kingpin is different in a way that is still adjacent, but different, you know? And I think it's so sick that all these things can exist and coexist and all be successful and all be awesome, and like everyone is lifting each other up in the process of it. And I think that is so important with hardcore.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I like, you know, as just a fan of being at the pub, this is one of the great times of my life right now.
Absolutely.
For me to be able to fuck around and hang out with people, awesome. All right, so got the tour. I mean, I think this will come out probably towards the end of it. So for anyone who's listening to this, tell us how the shows were.
Hopefully they're all right.
And then, you know, records and other things coming out with the label. But what else for the band after this?
For Forewarned?
Yeah.
No idea.
No.
And I think that's the exciting thing.
Aubrey, we don't.
Oh, yes. Well, that was supposed to be on the tour, but Kyle, why you have to live so far?
You dog.
Yes. Yeah, I definitely do want to make Aubrey happen. That is one thing. We also do have one other show that is booked, and it is with Speed. Speed Whispers, Terminal Sleep, Feel the Pain, and Forewarned. And that is at 170 Russell with no barrier. And shout out to Candace for that because that's fucking amazing.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. Ben, what you got coming up? By this point,
I think 24th of July, I'll be doing my solo show in Brisbane before Cold Day on the Thursday. So come through to that, and then we'll just be up there hanging.
Yeah.
And that's about it for me, I think.
Yeah, nice.
I'll have more shit to announce soon.
Yeah. I've got HCO Shows in June 13th and 14th here in Melbourne and in Franga with a bunch of bands. Go to them if you could. That would be lovely. And then I exist playing those things. Cold Day, I'll be there with Ben. You'll see us together. Come say hi to us. And then we're playing at the Tote here with a bunch of bands, which will be awesome. And then Extortion are playing all those Iron Lung shows.
Those are going to be sick.
They will be fucking mad. We're writing a record. Sounds good. Ooh. So that's it.
Big tease.
Big tease. All right. Well, Jake, thanks so much for coming and chatting to us.
Thank you for having me again. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, mate.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.